welcome back to my channel. My name is Kelsey and I'm here this month for another Rick Riordan reading vlog. So if you missed the announcement on my channel, me and my friend How Nanny will be picking up The Trials of Apollo, The Hidden Oracle by Rick Riordan this month. If you have no idea that we read a Rick Riordan book every month so that we're catching up on the series in our elderly age, I will leave a link up above to the playlist, which I have dedicated to every single book Rick Riordan has written since the Percy Jackson series. And we finally made it to the Trials of Apollo series. I'm recording this before we have our reading sprints, but every month I record a vlog and we have our reading sprints devoted to the book of choice. This series, the god Apollo, has been cast down to Earth as a punishment by Zeus, and he is now an awkward teenager named Lester. And in order to regain kind of his purpose or regain his position in Mount Olympus, Lester or Apollo has to capture these 5 hidden oracles that have gone dark. And Apollo is obviously uncertain of how he's supposed to do this without any godly help. So that's where he recruits Percy Jackson and we're back together with the gang again. I'm very excited to start this series. This is, I think, the most recent Rick Riordan series that has been written. So I really have high expectations with this one. Rick Riordan has just been impressing me so much with the different series that he's created. I just feel like he's doing a great job at establishing the sense of connection with the gods and establishing this literary love for Greek mythology or Roman mythology or whatever mythology he's written, while also creating these really relatable and diverse set of characters that I just think anybody can relate to. So I'm very excited to dive in. We will be starting the reading sprint soon, so I'm going to turn on my computer. We're going to get everybody situated, me and How Nanny. And so I'm not going to read until then. We still have about half an hour until the sprints happen because I want to start this on the sprints with How Nanny. I always have a goal to read these books in one day, but I've given up on that goal. However, this book is not as large as the other Rick Riordan books. It's only 358 pages. I always have this goal. I've never completed it. I think I completed it early on with the early Percy Jackson books, which were about this size. We're gonna try. We're gonna attempt.
Honey, you've got a big storm coming.
Sorry if you can hear the computer noise in the background. You are on my desk of my PC, but I have gotten 70 pages into The Hidden Oracle, which is chapter 9. And so far I am really enjoying this about as much as I enjoy pretty much any first book in a Rick Riordan series. We're definitely diving into the characters, the character interactions, the atmosphere, the mythos of whatever is going on in this book. So as I mentioned when I was describing what this book was about, we have our main character Apollo, who is sent to Earth, form of a mortal boy named Lester. He is being punished by Zeus because, if you remember from the Heroes of Olympus series, Apollo was supporting or is the reason that one of the Roman demigods, Octavio, was that his name? Octavius, something like that. And he led the revolution and wanting to take down Jason, Piper, and all of them in the Heroes of Olympus. So now Zeus has punished Apollo for that, and Apollo is now on Earth. He doesn't exactly know why he's there. He doesn't know what he's supposed to do while he's there. So there have been some interesting things going on with what Apollo is currently doing. So we know that Apollo is being punished, but he doesn't know what he needs to do. And when he first lands on the mortal plane, he's about to get beat up by these 2 people in an alley because they were sent here to kind of catch him, and he is saved by a young demigod named Meg. We don't know anything about Meg. We don't know who her godly parent is. Nothing. We do know that the 2 people who came to beat up Apollo are probably more important than we are currently being led on, because they said that their boss had sent them there specifically to find Apollo. So we have these 2 characters. We have Meg. Apollo went to go find Percy Jackson so that Percy can help them get to Camp Half-Blood, so hopefully Apollo can figure out what is going on. That's where we currently are. So obviously Percy drove them to the outskirts of Camp Half-Blood, and they just battled with these plague ghosts, demons, whatever, and they were able to defeat them because of Meg, and she conjured up a Carpos, which we saw in the Percy Jackson series, and they're grain spirits, plant spirits. So Meg is somehow related to a plant god, and the only one that I know is Demeter or Persephone, I guess. So we'll see where that comes into play. I'm fairly certain the only god that I know that's related to plants, I mean there might be another one, but the only one that I know is Demeter. So we'll see if that happens. And yeah, I've been enjoying it so far. I think Apollo's inflictions and his personality in the book are different from what we've seen previously in the other books, but also very relatable. So Apollo himself is extremely arrogant. He thinks he's better than everybody else, obviously, because he is a god, but it comes off in a more humorous way, which reminds us obviously of the Percy Jackson series, Magnus Chase, the personalities of these main characters. I'm excited to see how the story goes from here, how we're going to understand what Apollo is doing on Earth. That's it for this first check-in. We just finished our second set of sprints. I don't think we're going to go on too long tonight, so we might just chat for a little bit more and go on our last sprint, but I'll fill you in whenever I have an update to say.
I drank alcohol all day.
Today?
Yeah, because I was at like my in-laws.
I was at a party.
Yeah, so
This one is interesting because Apollo is the god. He's like the god.
Yeah.
The god Apollo.
Yes, that one.
1 week later.
It is now, I think, almost a week later. Ask me if I've read the book since I started it. The answer is no. The answer is very much, I have not read a single page. Miss, I was going to read this in one day. Who did I think I was? So I just got to the 190 page mark about, and a lot has really developed in this book. I think last I spoke, Apollo and Meg were being led to Camp Half-Blood by Percy, or they were looking for Percy. It might have been that long ago. Anyways, they got to have Camp Half-Blood and they realized that some of the campers have gone missing. Apollo kind of figures out that they are being like lured into the forest by some sort of magical voice that is planning to like give them what they need or what they most desire, and that is what's taking them away. We don't know where they're going or what's up. Despite all of this, the campers decide that they want to host a like three-legged death tournament, and obviously 2 of Apollo's children go missing, and Apollo's really shaken up about it. Something that I'm appreciating with this book is that we are seeing Apollo reflect on his life as like both a god and a human. So he's mentioning how as a god, he didn't really take the time to like get to know his children. But now that he's a human and he's sort of feeling human feelings, he's realizing that he should have spent more time to like get to know the children that he's had, and also understanding that a lot of the things that he's done or said are myths, and he does admit to making them up sometimes. So I'm really appreciating this like more reflective character. I think Apollo is still a funny character. He still mentions like, oh, I wish my cabin was like bigger than the other cabins and like whatever. He's still Apollo,
The god Apollo.
but like there's a more reflective tone to the way that he thinks. And we also got some backstory from Meg. So Meg at the beginning of the book was this more like mysterious character, and we learn from what goddess she hails from.
I didn't mention it, but I was right. It was Demeter. Greek god intelligence right here.
Also how she is related to the man who seems to be stealing the oracles. So when Meg and Apollo are in the labyrinth in order to like participate in the three-legged death race, they overhear the Python and another man, which they are referring to as the Beast, speaking, and the Beast's goal is to collect all of the oracles. We'll see how this develops. I don't want to get too spoilery. I'm not 100% sure what the Beast's goal is right now, but we know that Meg has some sort of connection with him as well. It seems that the Beast had killed Meg's father because Meg did not want to go work for him. Meg's stepfather is the one who raised her to be this like demigod warrior. So Meg was already sort of knew who her mother was, or at least that she was able to have these godly powers. So I'm very excited to see how this story develops from here, just because we have some very interesting and different perspectives going on in the book. Something interesting that I'm really appreciating about this so far, by the way, I'm at page 238, so I've already read like 50 pages, is that there's a lot of references to the Percy Jackson series and what happened there and the characters there, which is fairly obvious because we're in the Greek mythos again, and obviously like Apollo's a Greek god. We're gonna learn about the Greeks, you know? But there's also references to the Heroes of Olympus series where we saw the Roman gods and the Roman demigods and how they're also related into this, which we also know because they were related in, like, Percy Jackson was in the Heroes of Olympus series, but the references as to what happened and how that's affecting what's going on in the Trials of Apollo series and how a lot of what Rick Riordan was planning in those books are related or have repercussions in this book, which I doubt like he planned ahead, but I think it's really interesting how he's able to make these connections with this series. So I'm really loving that. It was just a quick update that I wanted to do just to say that I'm enjoying the like connections that are going on. Hello. So if I look like disastrous, it's because I did my second day of Couch to 5K. It's something I'm working on. I really do miss running. I feel like this running challenge that I'm doing is encouraging me to wake up earlier, which is like one of my main problems on the days that I work from home, is that I get up when I start work and not earlier than that to do anything that can like help my body. So I like took all my vitamins this morning. I went for my jog. So I did 2.5K in 20 minutes, which is half of what like the 5K. So roughly if you're like a respectable, which I don't think I'll be, I'm going to run 5K the amount that I can, but it's halfway to like a runner's 5K, which is like about 20 to 25 minutes. So I think I did pretty good this morning. I feel really good. It was raining and I went outside anyways to do it, which is a good sign for me. It means that I'm committed and not really making excuses. But yeah, that's why I look haggard. But last night I got to page 264. I wanted to give myself a bit of reading time to do today. My goal was to film B-roll when I was running, but I obviously didn't do that because you know that I suck at B-roll. But where we are now in the book, we are really discovering who the like evil people are, but they seem to be, from what I understand, undead or never dead Roman emperors. We now know that the beast, the person that runs New York City, is Emperor Nero, and I can only assume that the other ones will be like emperors that we know, like are Augustus and Julius Caesar emperors? I think so. But if they're a part of it, that's fascinating. And so once again, we're really blending the Greek and Roman, and it didn't work in The Blood of Olympus for me. But I think that was mostly because I was so used to like the Greek side of like Rick Riordan's writing that the Roman kind of threw me off in the Percy Jackson world. However, now that we've come so far from there and we've really had this integration of different mythologies and stuff like that, I do think that this will be far more successful for me to read. So I'm going to continue reading. I'm probably going to finish this and then update you. So I have my lunch now and I'm going to read a bit, then go to the gym, and then I'll probably update you likely later today or tomorrow. Rick Riordan pulling twists to this day that shock me in middle grade novels. I'm shook and shaken. Hello, so I just wanted to come on here and end the vlog with another like really great read for this month. So of course, as you saw throughout the vlog, I was really enjoying my experience reading this. It's definitely very reminiscent of the Percy Jackson series and the beginning of the Heroes of Olympus series and also the Magnus Chase series. Like I think Rick Riordan really has it down with first books in series to get his readers engaged and back into a new or familiar world. But I just loved reading this. Like at the same time that this book was so comforting and familiar to the other series, it still felt so fresh with a god as our main character. Apollo was really funny. He was awkward. He was very reflective of his life as a god and how those experiences as a god like hinder him or help him today in the story that we're reading. I really enjoyed exploring this familiar world to us that we've spent so much time in, the Percy Jackson series and the Heroes of Olympus series, but with a fresh new perspective. And I think it was really interesting for Rick Riordan to call back to the previous series and see how most of the plot points that happened in those series occurred and are reconvening within this one. Especially how the bad guys, as I mentioned, the Roman emperors have been involved this entire time. I just thought that was a really cool addition edition and like still made sense. Sometimes when like authors recon stuff, it doesn't necessarily make sense to fans of the series, but I really think in this instance, the plot made sense in those stories and can still make sense here. I'm really, really excited for our new characters. I really enjoyed Meg. I really like Apollo, and I'm just excited to see how this series progresses. I love reading Rick Riordan books and the like joy I feel when reading the first book in a series, and it's definitely the same here. That's it. That's all I needed to say in regards to the first book, The Hidden Oracle. Next month, or rather this month, I'll be diving into The Dark Prophecy. I'm very sorry that this vlog is coming late. I was very slumpy 2 weeks ago, and so like the vlog is coming late, the editing is coming late. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm apologizing, and I'm trying to take it easy on myself this year and not like feel too hard on myself for vlogs and the way and time that they come out. I'm just going with the flow with all these videos. But that's it for The Hidden Oracle. If you've read the Trials of Apollo series, please let me know down below what you thought about it without spoilers. And if you would like to follow my progression or any other book I read on this channel, I always leave a link down below to my Twitter, Goodreads, and Instagram if you would like to follow me there. And of course, because it is the end of the video, please do not forget to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. I tell you every time, but it does wonders for my channel and make me feel really good. And that's it. I never know how to end these things, so I will see you next time. Okay, bye!